on the 15th of April 2008 at
This is in
9:33
Florida.
a.m.
No, this is in
Police
Lancaster,
were
Florida.
dispatched to 21014 Timber Ridge Terrace in Northern Virginia.
Oh, this is in Virginia.
41-year-old David Cavalieri had made the call and referenced there had been a stabbing. This is the murder of Stacy Harper. Now,
Oh
this is quite the
man.
unknown story. I have the case file here. I have personal emails between David and Stacy. You see, I couldn't quite work out why David would do this. So let me show you some of the evidence and we can decide together what we think David's motives were. If you do end up liking this video, please subscribe. When
Right.
police arrived at the residence, David was suffering from stab wounds from his neck and abdomen. He
Why he
claimed
die?
these wounds were self-inflicted and required medical attention, so he was taken to the
Hold on.
Fairfax Hospital for treatment. Here, the police interviewed him, and David said that he was
We
suffering
back.
from personal issues. He was going through depression. David stated his girlfriend Stacy Harper
He was going through
also occupied
depression.
his apartment. He claimed
Okay.
that Stacy had left the apartment over 2 weeks ago and she went on vacation.
Yeah, he killed
But
her.
he refused to provide the police any contact details of Stacy. And then when the
Yeah, he killed her. We already know
police
this
checked
fact.
their records, they found at least 2 instances of domestic violence reported between the couple. When the police looked around the apartment of David, they noticed what appeared to be blood in 2 bathrooms. The
Hey, thank you. Thank you for the support. Stay safe.
master bedroom and the kitchen. So the police then began to process the scene in connection with David's claims that these were self inflicted wounds. During this process, they saw a large, suspicious object covered in black plastic and taped shut,
Yeah,
stuffed under
he gotta be the
a
worst
bed
murderer
in
I
the
ever
guest
heard.
bedroom.
I
The
ever heard
object
about.
had the shape and outline of a human body. The police began to cut an approximate 3-inch opening near the head to determine if life saving measures needed to be taken. Upon opening this plastic, the police saw the facial portion of what appeared to be a deceased human body. This body was, of course,
He killed his
37-year-old
girl.
Stacy Harper. This is her autopsy report.
What type of sick human being you have to be to kill your own girlfriend? I know you abused her, but what type of sick human being you have to be?
And as you can
Like
see,
to kill
circled
somebody
by the
that you
medical
love.
examiner, they are demonstrated that she died by strangulation.
And he
Submitted into
strangled
evidence
her.
was this written by David. It shows his father's phone number, which I redacted, but in the letter he states,
I'm very sorry for what I did.
So far, just to summarize, David called 911. He says he's suffering
Choked her
from
to
injuries,
death.
which he claimed basically if they're self-inflicted, then he tried to commit suicide, and then
So he felt guilty.
when the police
He
searched
felt
his
guilty
house,
to
they
the
found a
point
dead
that he
body.
tried.
It's
You
important
feel
to
me?
note that during the trial, David did tell the jury he tried to kill himself 3 times. He tried
3
to overdose on
times.
pills the first 2 times, then stabbed himself.
Yeah,
the
God
3rd
wanted
time.
you in prison, boy.
David said he wanted his suicide to be painful, sort of like an eye for an eye, but choking Harper to death. Regarding
God
the
wanted
incident
you to
itself,
be in prison.
David and Stacy were both arguing and had a lot of alcohol to drink. David then wrapped a piece of twine around Harper's neck and pulled as hard as he could
You cannot.
until his fingers went numb.
Alright. I know that when people get drunk, they get aggressive. But if you get drunk to the point where you choke out your own girlfriend while you guys argue and kill her, you should get help. First of all, you should get help too. You should go in rehab, right? I know in prison prison's just a big ass rehab center. You should get rehab, and then you need to be in prison because you are a danger to yourself. One, because you tried self-deleting. You're a danger to yourself. One, you're a danger to society if you're drunk too. So at the end of the day, like you cannot
Harper
be here.
gurgling and gasping sounds. The murder took place on March the 27th, 2008.
And then
After
on top
Harper
of that, you
died,
couldn't
the
hide the
prosecutor
body.
said Cavalieri cleaned her body and wrapped it in a shower curtain, a bedspread, and black trash bags before stowing the body under a bed for weeks. So the question is, who was
Killed her
Stacey
for
Harper? So if you look
weeks.
at this email between David,
The last round that you actually owe me, no money involved in that when you promised. What this nigga can't type. I will give you 200 if you follow through with that, but no rushing me through it. My whatever sex, where you said we could do whatever, I'll give you 300 if you follow through with that. However, and please understand, I'm talking vibrator. Squirting. Really making you orgasm, licking, sucking us, basically having dirty, crazy sex that I unfortunately didn't give you the last year. Several hours of great sex, not just coming on you, coming and you stopping. And if we could have a third person, a guy, obviously, I'll go. Oh yeah, he was a little fruity. Let me know. I'll give you 400. Let me know if any of that makes it squirting.
Stacey, this took place on Friday, March the 27th at 7 in the morning. David says, the last round that you actually owe me, no money involved in what you promised. I will give you $200 if you follow through, but no rushing me through it. My whatever sex, where you said you can do whatever, I will give you $300 if you follow through with that. However, and please understand, I'm talking vibrators, squirting, really making you
Ain't no way he said that shit with a straight straight
orgasm,
face.
licking, sucking, us basically having the dirty,
No.
crazy sex. Please understand, I'm talking vibrators, squirting, really making you orgasm, licking, sucking, us basically having the dirty, crazy sex that I unfortunately didn't give you last year. Several hours of great sex, not just my coming and you stopping. And if we can, a third person, a guy obviously, I will give you $400. Let me know if any of that works for you. And this is the reason for the video. If you are a girlfriend, well, you don't pay your girlfriend to have sex with you. So, what does this actually mean? If you go back to the email, Stacy
Fuck off. Guys, chat. She was like, fuck off. Nigga gonna respond like a little. Nigga gonna respond. Well, that is certainly an answer. Okay, if you calm down and decide differently, please let me know.
replies telling David to fuck off, to which David says, well, that certainly is an answer. If you calm down and decide differently, please let me know. So, here's my thinking, right? If they get into an argument, you don't have an email argument with your girlfriend, maybe they were at work. That's one possibility, right? The other
She's a
possibility
prostitute.
is that was this really his girlfriend or was this someone, was this a roommate of whom he then had sexual advances with? You understand, right? But to me, given the dynamics of modern relationships, this email makes no sense. But
She
again, the
was a
date's
prostitute,
important to
probably.
know because March 27th, it's the day she died. So maybe the argument that they had, maybe this was the beginning of it. Here's another email dated Tuesday, March the 24th from
Hold on. I was 5 when this happened. In other words, if you actually came through once and gave in, I might actually expect you would give in again, as every time you have an excuse, I don't ever actually expect you'll give in. So telling me you might, well, has no effect really. Smiley face.
David.
Nigga sound like a real sexual predator, right? He said, If you come through once and gave in already, I expect you to fuck me again. I don't ever actually expect you to fuck me all the time. But you saying you might do it has no real effect on me. You've been fantastic during our relationship at dangling the proverbial carrot of sex as you just did, and you expect me to have sex with you for 10 minutes, and you act like this, I'm just talking to you. Really not my fault if bring up lies cause you to become defensive. Listen to yourself. Ah, man. David wasn't getting no coochie.
To soothing touch. I don't know who that is. But
Well,
if
David
you go
wasn't
on,
getting
he
no
says,
coochie.
"You've been fantastic during our relationship at dangling the proverbial carrot of sex, as you just did. You expect me to have sex with you for 10 minutes when you act like this. I'm just talking to you. Really not my fault if you bring up your lies because you to become defensive. Listen
Mm.
to yourself." He goes on to say, "Stacy, you do realize only 3 times in our entire relationship have you ever actually taken the lead." Now,
Nigga was
this email that you're
counting.
about to see gets even weirder. So on March the 9th,
Good. Alright, we gonna read this before he read it. Good morning. I hope you're feeling better. Well, I was more or less surprised this morning to see that you had sent out the. Whoa. Oh.
David sends an email to Stacy. He says, "Good morning. I do hope you're feeling better. Well, I was more than a little surprised this morning to see that you had sent out the above attached photos, especially since I know you never send full frontal shots with your face to massage clients." So, number one, he's suggesting that she may be some kind of call girl. And number two, it seems he's not mad at her sending photos, he's mad at the type of photo. He goes on to say, "So I
Oh.
figured if we
Oh,
adopted a don't ask, don't tell policy why no reason to
that
blame yourself
photo's
and to tell very clear."
that is
It
very
says to
clear.
Stacy, "One of the biggest differences between you and I,
I'm not
Stacy,
getting
is that
banned.
you have a propensity for turning almost every conversation you have with a man into something sexual.
Me and Stacy are
And
just
when
alike.
we were still together, you continued to do. And shortly after we broke up, I found conversations with Jay from MySpace that was sexual in nature." So it seems they broke up and he was kind of jealous that she was able to find other men. Now, this is an interesting email dated 24th of March. This is where David tells Stacy, "My resentment of you stems from you not being honest. My continued resentment stems from you continuing to not be honest. My love for you came from simply wanting to be with you, all of you, the good, the bad, the ugly. But I wanted you. I never really got you, darling. And when I say you, I mean and meant whomever you actually are. You listen to that song on the radio that talks of being yourself, but you never let me in. You never let me allow to be you, as you wouldn't share you. So, how in the fucking world could I appreciate you if you never told me who you were?" So, from this, I gather
Why is he
that she was
emphasizing
quite closed
you?
off. He was certainly more emotionally invested
Why was he emphasizing the you? Like I get that she was a closed off person, but you could work through that.
in her than what she was in him. He couldn't quite figure it out,
Nigga was the
and
bitch of
he
the
needed her
relationship.
reassurance that, "Yeah, I do like you too."
What the fuck just happened? Oh, shit, no.
On the fifth
What the fuck?
thing to be with you, all of you,
Alright.
darling. I appreciate you. I gather that
He
she
was the
was
bitch
quite
of the
closed off. He
relationship.
was certainly more emotionally invested in her than what she was in him. He couldn't quite figure it out, and he needed her reassurance that, "Yeah, I do like you too, David." Again, this is more correspondence, this time from Soothing Touch. Again, I don't know who that is. Maybe it's Stacy. But on the 25th of March 2009, he, she, whoever it is, they say, "You broke the rules this week, Dave. You waited until the day after you got what you wanted and then fucking broke your rules. I had to fuck you last night. I had to blow you today. I have to fuck you again in 2 days in order to get my money back. Read your fucking rules again.
Oh nah, she was a prostitute. Yeah, yeah.
And
Okay.
until you actually stick to the rules, you will not be messaging me.
Yeah.
Even in your rules, it says that I will pay for beer and cigarettes as long as you are extremely nice to me. Yeah, I am still fucking buying your shit, and you don't fucking bother to get what I drink, and I did that even though you have been the complete opposite of extremely nice to me. Now, forgive me, I know there's a lot of profanity in there, but I think it really does bring home the aggression in this. But what does this actually mean? Was she like, was he paying to have her there? Was she actually one of his clients? Was she someone who he regularly had sex with, paid for it? Imagine the waters would have been really muddy there. Place to stay. And then
Uh huh.
she actually one of his clients. Was she someone who he regularly had sex with,
She's a
paid for it,
prostitute.
and then eventually she needed a place to stay, and then she moved in, and then you can imagine the waters would have been really.
You feel me? She was a prostitute. They linked up, had sex, got drunk. You feel me? Some I don't know. Sometimes they like doing that. Linked up, had sex, got drunk. Then you realize that slowly but surely that they start to argue over the argument that they had over Gmail. I don't know who the fuck messages people on Gmail unless it's business emails or shit like that. But they argued over Gmail, right? Then then the argument stemmed over to real life. After that, got drunk. He's one of those little angry drunks. R.I.P. to him. And shit, the rest is history.
Really muddy there. In response to that, David says, I broke the rules to get closure. Now, finally, I have closure. So actually sticking to the rules will be rather easy. And yes, I expect that both you and I will adhere to the rules of conduct. Now, I'm guessing that maybe the rules of conduct were I'll live with you and maybe you're a client, but as a roommate, we gotta have boundaries. I'm guessing that's what they
Mmm.
mean. Now, keep in mind,
Mmm.
Stacy died on March the 27th. Here are some emails dated April the 10th from David to what seems to be a female acquaintance known as Kelly. David says, Trust me, all gentlemen.
Your butt. I like to see your butt. Care to share more photos? I am home in my PJs and totally comfy and hanging with my dog. I will chat with you all you want, but my butt is parked. This nigga was dangerously horny.
Neighbors here, no worries. And again, I'm in a rather mellow mood, and I've seriously enjoyed our conversation via email so far. He goes on to say that I can promise unless you take off your
This
clothes,
nigga,
I won't hit you. I don't know what he means, but let's follow the chain.
this nigga is criminally horny. Like, damn.
She says, I'm at home in my PJs and my butt is parked. She's basically saying, I'm at home, I'm not going anywhere. To which David replies, Your butt? I'd like to see your butt. To which she says, I'm not showing you my butt. As the conversation goes on, Kelly requests David to stop talking about sex and tell her more about him. David tells her
Mmm.
that he was a Jersey boy. He
So send me
graduated in
pictures of
Pennsylvania.
you.
He moved back to New Jersey. He opened a business in Colorado. Then, a business in mind, he traveled to and lived in Texas, Utah, Georgia, the state of Washington, California, Mexico, North Carolina, Florida, Maine, and finally back to California. He
All
then came
that
to Virginia to get
money
his master's degree.
and
Have a
that
look at
nigga
this
could not get
correspondence
no
on Friday,
pussy?
April the 10th. He says,
You must
So
been
send
one
me
ugly
a picture of
motherfucker.
you, something in a little less clothing. To which Kelly says, Nice try. And then eventually on the Saturday, he asks her out on a date. To which she replies, Hi, I'm at work right now, and I may have less plans, waiting to hear from a girlfriend later. Now, the whole point
Damn.
of me showing you this email is
Niggas
that
just
within a
getting
week and a
curved left
half,
or
he
right.
was already trying to date other women, having just murdered Stacy. Now, this is the official criminal complaint of David. As you can see, on March the 29th, he was arrested, and it says that the suspect, Mr. Cavalieri, stated he had got in an argument with his
And killed
girlfriend
her.
and he killed her.
First
This
degree.
appears to be his official sentencing order, and it says, in accordance with the recommendation of the jury, The court sentences the defendant to incarceration in the Department of Corrections for a period of life in the penitentiary for the conviction of first degree murder.
Life.
So, David was living with a woman who was his girlfriend or his client, I don't know. He gets angry, he strangles her, she dies. What do you guys think? To me, reading the emails, I think I think David was one of Stacy's clients. As I said, he found her somehow. They engaged in
This
some
channel
kind
is
of
unique,
physical
but nah.
contact. Then she decided to move in with him. He may refer to her as his girlfriend. She, in her mind, might think he's just a client. Anyway, comment. What do you guys think?
We'll never know. But bro, that nigga was dangerously horny.